Another 65 women have contacted the BBC with allegations against Mohamed Al Fayed going back as far as the 1970s. Their accounts include accusations of rape, sexual assault and sexual harassment. They were sent to the BBC in the 3 weeks since the documentary Al Fayed, Predator at Harrods was broadcast. Al Fayed died last year. Our correspondent Helena Wilkinson has been speaking to some of the women.
He seemed to have more hands than a normal human being somehow.
Sheena, who's waived her right to anonymity, vividly remembers the moment she says Mohamed Al Fayed sexually assaulted her 47 years ago. She was 25 at the time.
So then he came round and he stood behind me and I thought, oh, what is he doing? And then he sort of lurched and both of his hands came down over my shoulders to the front. And then one hand came down and went on my leg.
It was 1977 and Sheena was working in the rapidly expanding Gulf port of Dubai. Al Fayed asked to meet her about a job, then assaulted her.
I just was stunned, really. That's the best word I can think of. I was stunned. And eventually he moved and told me that I would regret it. His parting shot was, "You will regret it."
It didn't end there. Sheena says for months Al Fayed would follow her and continue his threats. Sometimes he would grope her again.
And in the end I realised that stalking was something that describes beautifully what he was doing to me. That is the perfect word.
Sheena's allegation is the earliest against Al Fayed that the BBC is aware of.
In my experience, with me, it was 1977. So that's a long time before the Harrods and the Ritz events were going on. So I thought people seem to be concentrating on these two as being his bad times. No, he did it from 1977, in which case he obviously did it from 1977 forever in his life after that.
It was at Al Fayed's family home in Surrey that another woman says she was the victim of repeated attacks and was held against her will by him.
He started to stroke my thigh under my skirt.
Margot, which isn't her real name, was 19 when she applied for a job as a nanny. She's portrayed here by an actor.
One morning before 5 a.m, I was awoken by my bedroom door opening and Al Fayed came in, shutting the door behind him. He sat down on my bed, deliberately squashing me up against the wall. Then he got under the sheets with me. His hands were everywhere. He raped me.
Margot says she was kept prisoner by him for several days at the Oxted family home and was repeatedly sexually assaulted. Like other women the BBC has spoken to, Margot believes she was offered the job under false pretences.
The job just didn't exist. He didn't need a nanny. He didn't want a nanny. Looking back, I believe I was recruited purely as a potential sex partner or plaything for Al Fayed.
As the number of allegations against Al Fayed increases, it's clear his apparent offending was not confined to his time at his best-known business, Harrods. Helena Wilkinson, BBC News.
And in response to our inquiries, Harrods have said since the airing of the documentary, so far there are 200 plus individuals who are in the Harrods process to settle claims directly with the business.